What is up, psychos? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the lab. I hope y'all are having an amazing day. If y'all enjoyed this video, if y'all could like, comment, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Everything helps us here. Today we are doing the Monotub video. Today we're going to talk about how to set a monotub. Now there are plenty of places you can get monotubs, our website included, and there are plenty of easy ways to make them. But here is the basic principle that it's going to come down to with almost every monotub, including the ones we ship right to your door. Now first things first, you're going to take everything out of the monotub once you receive it, and take it into the bathroom and wash it with some soap and warm water, as warm as your hands can handle. And then once it's dry, you're going to put these pieces of tape that will be included a roll of tape will be included into your tub. Some micro port tape. You're just going to want to tape up those 3 holes on all 4 sides, and then spray the inside of the tote with alcohol, 70% isopropyl alcohol, and as well as the tote liner that will come in your tote if you bought a kit from us, or you can make them as well out of trash bags. We'll talk about how to make all the stuff that goes into it too in another video. So you're just going to use the wetness of that alcohol to help that liner stick. It will actually kind of cling to the walls of that tote with the wetness of that alcohol, and that'll help you get that liner but just below all of those breather holes that you taped up. And then bam, and your next step is to I don't know what's taking me so long in this video. Spraying my hands down again, just to be safe, and then you're gonna grab your substrate or your inoculated grain, your fully colonized grain bag. Either way will work. You can start with either one. I tend to start with the grain just because when I'm using the smaller 22 quart ones, the ones that come in the monotubs on my website, they are a little bit smaller, so I split the grain in half. I use half on each tub, but this one is much bigger, so I'm going to use the full bag here. So we're just cutting that open and pouring her in. And now I'm doing this in my lab in front of my flow hood, but that is absolutely not necessary. I cultivated for years just setting these in the living room with no fans blowing, and that's just fine to do. You know, you can do it in your bathroom. The only thing is, turn off any heaters or ACs that are any fans, anything that's moving air around. Just make sure it's not running. But yeah, there's absolutely no problem doing this in your living room, bathroom, next to your bed, wherever. You can do that anywhere. It just increases your risk of contamination. Spraying my hands down again. I kind of spray my hands down super duper often. Here I am just, this bag kind of had some bluing, so I'm just kind of inspecting some of that and breaking up the clumps. I guess I didn't really show the camera very well there, but there's some bluing on some of these that was getting pretty serious. It was time to throw this into a tote for sure. Bluing isn't nothing to be too concerned about. It happens when you handle things a little too much. And then boom, so in your small little 20 quart totes. They are going to be 5 pounds of substrate per. So this is a 5 pound bag of substrate. And so what you're going to do is dump almost all of the substrate in there, just save you a little bit. I'm using 2 bags here, so you'll see me save a little bit of the next one. Just make sure you got a little bit of substrate left to work with. So if you're using a 20 quart tote, save a little bit in one single bag, and if you're using a bigger tote, a bigger monotub, just save a little bit in one of the bags. Because I'm throwing 4 pounds of substrate in here to 10 pounds of 10 pounds of grain spawn to 4 pounds of inoculated grain spawn to 10 pounds of substrate is the ratio that I'm going for here, and I get pretty good results with that ratio. So here I am just pouring out that substrate into the tote, sealing it up, saving my little bit and putting that off to the side, and then giving it a nice good mix, making sure all of that substrate and all of that bulk substrate and grain spawn are nice and evenly distributed throughout the cake. And this is great to research, the steps right before pinning, and to just watch grain colonize, or your grain spawn colonize in your bulk substrate, and see how they work together. There's also certain gourmet varieties that do well in monotubs, like piapinos, medicinal mushrooms like reishi, trying to grow the antler varieties. There's tons of uses for monotubs here in mycology. So after you're done mixing that up real good and making sure that it is nice and evenly distributed throughout, you're just going to give it a nice pack that down into a nice cake. And now you can pack it pretty tight. You know you're packing too tight when you start to squeeze water out of the substrate when you put your weight onto it. But you can pack it pretty tight. Try to get it nice and even. It'll help your colonizing time. And if you guys have watched this far into the video, thank you guys for coming here. It's great to have y'all. Give it a nice pack down, get it as flat as you can. And you can see there's quite a bit of those kernels, that grain spawn you can see in the substrate through, because we just mixed it up. What we're going to do is we're going to take that little bit of dirt that we saved off to the side. I'm still packing it down. I'm talking ahead of myself just a little bit. Bigger totes sometimes take a minute to pack. Okay, now we're going to grab the rest of that substrate in that bag over there and just dump her in. Dump the rest of the substrate in there. Get the rest of that out. And now just get that in a nice layer over the top and try to get some of them kernels more covered. Get some fiber on top of them. It just helps. It helps with getting more even flushes around fruiting time. From personal experience, I've not done this before just to see the difference, and there definitely is quite a big difference. So I definitely recommend not skipping this step, although it is not totally necessary. Alright, Alright, so once you get her nice and packed down and covered and you're feeling pretty confident and that you did a good job, or you're just tired of working because it's been a super long day, you're gonna want to grab your water bottle. Tap water works just fine, and squeeze, give her hell for a little bit until the moisture is nice and soaked in there. Moisture content is pretty high and it'll start sticking to the walls of the tote pretty well. It does take quite a bit of water, and then after that, I didn't quite get it on camera, you're just going to want to spray the lid down with isopropyl alcohol, let it dry for a second, and seal her up, and she's ready to go. Now mind you, it is quite a bit of water that you have to use. And I just want to say that if you've stuck around to the end of this video, thank you guys for watching. It's really appreciated. We love having you here, and I hope we can have you all back for many more. We have another video coming this week about agar dish media, and we got a lot more fun things coming. So just stay tuned for that. We're gonna do some gourmet stuff here soon, I think, is the plan. We'll see if we can't get those videos out in the next week or two. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and come get crazy with us.